Like a dog, he came to my door. A black-eyed dog, and he called for more. Black-eyed dog, and he knew my name. Black-eyed dog, he stayed just the same. Black-eyed dog, getting old and I wanna go home. Getting tired and I don't wanna know. Getting old and I wanna go home. Getting tired and I don't wanna know.
Oh, hi, I'm Hoffman. I'm a public artist here in Charlottesville, and some people might ask, what's a public artist? Well, a public artist is someone who needs to get ready to actually expose themselves to different types of businesses in Charlottesville so that they can have wonderful pieces of artwork and enjoy the humanity of the culture of Charlottesville by the way artists express themselves, whether it be music or painting or drawing or sculpture. And as you noticed in Charlottesville, the artists are very prolific here. I mean, everything from the new Katie Kirk Cancer Center, you have Janice Arone and all sorts of people, Janet Graham, everybody exhibiting and keeping the humanness of even hospitalization. And here we are in Airport Road, where right next to the airport, we have a wonderful veterinarian hospital called VETSS ER. It's wonderful here. And Dr. Sara Salmon has invited me to come and show my artwork. So I'm going to bring in some of my artwork right now and see if she'll hang it up here and give most of the clients and everybody else something to look at in their time of stress, when they feel bad because their pet is sick, their loved one, their family member, pet is something so important and dear to their heart, and then they have to worry in the lobbies or in the offices or whatever. So the artists can help, and the way they can help is to bring in their artwork so that people can sort of get distracted from their moment and just enjoy a piece of artwork. So I'm going to bring some paintings in now, see if she'll like them. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Hoffman.
Hi, Robin.
How are you?
I'm well.
I'm a public artist here in Charlottesville, and glad to meet you.
Nice to see you.
And you are?
Dr. Sara Salmon.
Oh, nice to meet you. And so I have some paintings here. I was wondering if you would mind looking at them and see if they're appropriate for your facility. Maybe we can even hang them. And by the way, I noticed that you have wonderful paintings here.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
And how did that happen?
They were created by a local artist who I met several years ago and loved her work, and she was willing to share some of her art with us.
Oh.
And it's all over our walls.
It really is. It's just wonderful. And so the expression on the faces of the cats and dogs, and then of course you have a mural over here, which is awesome. I mean, if you're having a situation with your pet, it's just a wonderful thing to be distracted by, to something to look very comforting and very lively. And I have a painting over here, which is one of them that I was thinking about actually sticking animals in there. So I think people could have maybe imagined that their pet is in there somewhere. And then I have another painting over here that I was wondering if you consider for one of your offices. And this painting is something that I did live on a farm off of, all these are, this is Route 29 by Ivy Road, a farm, and they raise horses there as well as grain and things. And they were running around. So I had to capture them as I go. And it's very difficult to do that, but I think with your talents, by the way, in that you are very attuned to the animal's needs, that you would also understand some of the expressions that an artist would use, is why you collect. So that endears me a lot to know that about you, and that I would love to bring my animals here. So we're gonna, I guess, maybe do a caricature, so I'm gonna bring in my caricatures. Would you mind if I did that in your treatment room, maybe?
Sounds great.
So we can even discover a little bit about what you do here.
Sounds great.
Yay, okay, I'm gonna go get my stuff. So I guess this is the treatment room. And you are?
I am Claire.
Hi,
I'm
Claire.
one of our licensed technicians.
Oh, Claire. So how did you become a licensed technician?
Well, I did a 2-year program at a local community college and took a national exam. I've been working in the veterinary field for almost 10 years now.
That is awesome. So for our young viewers, does it take a lot of schooling to become a technician?
Not as much as it takes to become a veterinarian. The education program is about half the length of time. It's 2 years, including the summer in between for an internship, and some on-the-job training as well.
And I suppose you have another life. Do you also have pets or anything?
I do have pets. I have one dog, and I have a cat in my life as well. He was found in the middle of the road, actually, and is about a year and a half old now.
Oh, what's his name?
His name is Dougie, and my dog's name is Lucy.
Well, it was good to meet you. I guess we're going to look at your facilities here.
Okay.
Thank you so
welcome.
much. So these are, I guess, this is your treatment area.
Yes, it is.
So can you tell us a little bit about it while I set up my caricature? Can you first of all give us sort of a bio about yourself? You have an incredible history of where you graduated from and all the years of work that you've accomplished, and you've also won an award. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Lynchburg, Virginia, and I grew up in Michigan. We returned to Virginia when I was in high school. I went to college in Lynchburg, determined at that point that I was dedicated to becoming a veterinarian, and I knew I had a little bit of a pathway to follow to achieve that goal. I attended the veterinary school in Blacksburg, the Virginia Maryland Regional College, graduating in 1998. So I've been out practicing for 15 years now. I've always been very active and supportive of my profession in the organized sense, in terms of national, state, and local organizations, the local, as well as, let's see, what else?
Well, you not only, I think, you're very humble to be talking so lightly, I think, in your description of things, because this is a very honorable position that you're in. I mean, there aren't very many people who can say in their profession that they've already won awards, that they're actually an outstanding professional in their practice. And, you know, at the same time, you own some dogs, or?
Oh, sure. Dogs and cats.
Oh, okay.
And I've had birds and rabbits and rats and all kinds of critters that come our way.
So how does that happen? Like, I'm having, say I found a skunk. And the skunk, you know, was in the road and didn't have a family, and I just said, oh, let me bring it to you to see what can happen in terms of becoming a domestic, because I need to feed it and all that kind of stuff. How do you?
Well, there are regulations about adopting wildlife as pets, and we certainly see some wildlife to help triage those animals when they have emergency needs. The best location, the best facility for them, however, is the Wildlife Center of Virginia in Waynesboro.
Okay.
They have the appropriate husbandry and diets, and you know, they're there to rehab them, to return them to the wild, primarily. Some that are severely injured that cannot return or survive in the wild may go into education programs, which is great. But something like a skunk is probably not as easy as it sounds.
No, it isn't. So, yeah, and then you might have feral cats as well that come in here. And so how does your staff and you know, sort of make it easier for them, you know?
Well, we are the only facility in the region that actually has a Good Samaritan policy, where we will see injured animals. We're not trying to be the shelter or see stray animals that are healthy. Their best path home is to go to the SPCA. However, we will see injured animals of any sort, and you know, we are grateful to the owners who are willing to, or the Good Samaritans who are willing to take time out of their lives to help get that animal somewhere like here, so we can take it from there. They have no obligation to continue care or financially for that animal. We will then, depending on what it is and the level of injury, we will send it on further. Many domestic animals are simply lost and injured on the side of the road, and again, their best hope to get home is to get to a shelter facility where someone may be looking for them. We also keep a lost and found guide here with anyone who calls or emails or contacts us and has lost a pet, so we have that information highway as well.
Wow, that is amazing services. Now, one of the things I like to ask also, I mean, what I'm thinking about asking actually, is are you affiliated, for instance, with the Natural Bridge facility or any of these facilities where they have wild animals that they have to get care for?
No, it's where our focus is small animal, domestic and exotic pets. The zoo animals like Natural Bridge Zoo work with. I know the facility they work with a veterinarian who's familiar with zoo animals and the separate medical needs that they have. We're a little far away as well.
Okay. And so they probably have vets on call there or whatever?
Yes, they do. They would have an avian specialist, someone who does large animal and large animal zoological animal to help them with their needs, which are a little bit different than our typical patients here.
Are you, like, I think I know this, but are you a national or Virginian sort of on-call person type of thing at some point, like for emergencies, like say, we had Sandy and things like that. Do you guys have like emergency stuff?
The veterinary profession actually has an emergency volunteer sign-in that's done on the state level, and I am certainly part of that, and I actually I participated on the state board that brought some further emergency training to Virginia and further emergency care in case of disaster.
Now I'm imagining that you like run around with your car and you have all kinds of things in there. What? How do you manage an emergency, do you think, for like something like Sandy, where all of a sudden you have stranded animals and they've like gotten hurt and things like that?
The most recent disaster of that magnitude before Sandy was, of course, Katrina. And I was one of the veterinarians from Virginia involved in that rescue effort. And the country learned a lot from the mistakes that were made during Katrina. In terms of organization, there was a tremendous outpouring of volunteerism, but not enough organization to utilize it fully. And so I think all the states learned that disasters happen, and if you didn't pre-plan for them, you cannot plan in the midst of the disaster. You must plan ahead. And that's a lesson learned for all of us, I think.
Well, I am doing this caricature of you, and it's you're so cute in this. But anyway, I mean you're cute anyway. But I mean to say is that I am trying to do your nuances. So now, do you live in a farm or a country setting or a city setting?
I live in a city, in Charlottesville.
Oh, okay. And what are your favorite recreational things to do?
I like to juggle.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not very good, but I enjoy it tremendously.
Oh my goodness!
It is a
what
little.
A discipline.
It is a mental gymnastic, and it's a bunch of fun. And there's a tremendous local group called the Air Raid Jugglers.
No way!
That all we do is get together and juggle together.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's fun.
So, what else do you like to do? Like, that's not enough.
I think most of us here enjoy outdoor activities, myself as well. I try and discipline myself to train for triathlon races.
No.
I've only done one very serious race, which was a half Ironman in Cancun a few years ago.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
It was great. It was great. It was, it's a tremendous individual competition. You're really competing against your own body and the environment wherever it is.
Okay, so how do you spell your first name?
Sara.
And what do you think? And this is a question that just off the top of my head I always ask: is your favorite color?
What is my favorite color?
Yeah, you think? Like
green?
You like to see green a lot. And the other thing I like to ask you about is your pets. What are they? Again.
I have a 4-year-old little mixed breed boxer pit bull, little naughty little boy named Puck.
Oh.
I have another pit bull mix, another rescue named Rivanna.
How do you spell Puck?
P-U-C-K. Rivanna was found down by the Rivanna River.
Oh.
She was a little 6-month-old with a badly broken leg.
Oh.
Many years ago. She's about 13 now. So we saw her here and triage took care of her here, and then her leg was fixed.
What's her name?
Rivanna.
How does Ravenna look again?
She's a brindle. She's a black and tan mix.
Yeah.
Subtle.
Aw.
She's a lamb, and then I have we call her a German beagle. Her name is Maybe.
Oh.
And Mom was a beagle. She was born here. I tend to bring into my house strays and animals in need. And certainly adult animals, which I have a more difficult time finding homes. However, Maybe came along with her first breath. She was in my heart and in my life, and she's never left.
She looks like a beagle?
Yeah, she looks like a German Shepherd-sized beagle.
Oh my goodness, that's so amazing.
She's ball obsessed.
Oh.
Even now at 13 years old.
Oh.
She sleeps with it.
Oh. How do you spell her name?
Just like it sounds. Maybe. M-A-Y-B-E.
M-A-Y-B-E. Cool. You have some animals in those cages over there. Are they sick?
Do. They are.
Oh. So what kind of treatments, even though it's confidentiality and they didn't sign any papers, can we find out what kind of treatments they're getting?
They are getting treatment for a very common toxicity we see, which is the ingestion of rat poison.
Whoa.
And it happens far and wide. And the challenge with rat poison is if the owner doesn't acknowledge that it's occurred, they will look normal for days until the anticoagulant effect starts to develop, and then they get very sick very quickly as they start to bleed out, which is how the rats die as well.
So I'm so sorry about that. But what I like to do is always talk about the necessity of us caring for animals or for pets is the closest thing that we have to nature. And it's that we have an inner instinct in all of us. But the instinct is lost between all the facades and all the technology and everything else. And artists feel that instinct when they study nature, when they draw, when they look at nature, they understand and they're humbled by it. And for you to work with animals, it's the same, because these animals have to talk to you through their instincts. And then you have to be very sensitive to it too, to understand what their needs are, because they don't verbalize everything. So is why people have animals, because they do want to feel that natural instinct in them when they are embraced by an animal. And especially those that care so much about us when we're sick. And for instance, I've seen animals who were sort of rescuing their owners.
Sure.
And not leaving them when they were in the most dire of straits. And that is something so dedicated that you don't get in human beings usually. And immediate, that's a very instinctive trait for people to acknowledge in their animals. So is why we, I think, collect animals, or we have them, is because we need that in our lives to feel sort of close to a natural feeling and a natural, what color are your eyes? Yeah, I'm looking at them and I'm saying, those are really blue. There's no other colors in there, so I'm just gonna put them really nice and blue.
I agree with you. I think that there is an incredible bond between, humans are natural beings, but you get far away from that behind city walls and the technology and the way we live our lives. And they are an immediate bond back to nature.
And thank you so much for being there for everybody and for our families, as it were. And this is you.
Awesome.
And I would like to give you this, and also what I do is I put my sticker on it.
Okay.
And this sticker happens to be the Derby Dames, and they raise money.
I know Derby Dames.
Yay?
Sure I do.
Oh, you're not a part of the Derby Dames.
No,
You're
but
pseudo.
there's a local veterinarian who is a Derby Dame.
Oh, and you have veterinarians who are artists as well in your
Sure.
facility.
Sure.
Okay, so anyway, so this is them when they go around for 35 miles an hour, and I captured them anatomically correct. That was my mental exercise, like you're juggling.
Right, your
It
mental
was.
gymnastics.
Yes, and I so appreciate
That's
that.
lovely.
So I guess we're gonna look around and see what's going on, and I just want to thank you so much, and I want to give you a hug. Thank you for being you, and we just hold this up now and show everybody that Sara is our veterinarian for Charlottesville.
I've been working hard all day, all night. You know, I've been working hard all day, all night. Oh, come gather round, y'all. It's about time you learn about the new dance craze that's sweeping the world. They do it in the country, they do it in town. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now. You take your right leg, shake it up and down, throw your hands to the Lord and wave them around. You can do the hokey pokey if you really, really want, cause that's what doing stomp is all about. Hey.